coming to you live from the country with the third most expensive average airfare. It's time for Destiny Down Under.
G'day and welcome to the 119th episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast. Sloth with a flying photo finish to get into the call with about 1.6 seconds before we went live. What a legend. I've missed him. He's back. Isn't it good? Anyway, how's it going?
I miss having like that intro. Just, you know, someone drops out, everything. For those who know, in Discord, once you lose a video feed, it stuffs up a whole template. So Sloth literally just dropped out with like 10 seconds to go. And then just before we went live, rejoin the call. Yeah. Just to keep logging on his feed.
To keep me on my toes and just raise my fucking blood pressure up. So, how you doing, big man? We missed you last week. Matt was very emotional. Oh, it's good to see he's fired up anyway.
I took last week off. Last week was a thing and I took it off and yeah.
You're now
but
a year older.
Do you feel good for taking it off? Do you feel refreshed, or do you just feel like you want to get back to it?
If I'm to be perfectly honest with you, I feel I don't feel refreshed.
Yeah.
But I did have a chance to make some changes and do some things.
Yeah.
And you know, like there's a few things that are going to change for me, at least on stream.
Cool.
And go from there, I guess.
You're changing up your time slot, aren't you? Are you going to stop being a vampire? Fucking believe that, people. No one saw that coming.
What?
Yeah.
Are you going to be during the day?
Yeah.
Well, I might as well just quit my PhD right now because I ain't getting shit done if you're playing games during the day.
So
this is going to be dangerous.
So I turned 40 on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Big 4-0. You don't look any older, I'll say that. I mean, you look pretty old to begin with, so the bar was
yeah,
thanks. You don't have any grey in your beard, man. That's pretty good for 40, right?
Yeah, let me tell you a secret. I dye it.
You dye your beard? You serious? Oh.
Hold on a second.
I've been thinking
about that.
I have grey in my hair, but not in my beard. I don't dye it.
How do you dye a beard?
You put a rinse through it, Matthew. You put a rinse through. You go down and buy Just for Men from fucking Coles, and you do it in the shower, mate.
And this is when we announce that our sponsor for this video is Just for Men beard dye.
No, it's Nair because of this.
Sloth with a double endorsement.
I had a bit of a thing. When I started streaming on Twitch 3.5 years ago or whatever it was, and I said to myself, I'll only do this until I stop enjoying it. The last couple of months, I've been enjoying it.
Yeah.
Because I only spent about 3 or 4 hours with my girls every day.
Yeah.
So I just said, fuck it. We only got one car, so I drive my wife to work every day. I drive the girls to school every day, and I thought, yeah, so I'll do that. I'll come home at 9:30. I'll stream for a couple of hours, and then go pick up the girls from school, help them with their homework, sit down, watch TV with them, take them to sport, all that sort of thing. Spend more time with them. So, and I can't do that if I'm sleeping during all day.
Yeah, sure.
So I just said, fuck it. I'm as much as it'll probably fuck over numbers and like numbers don't give a fuck to me, but like I don't give a fuck about numbers or anything like that. But a lot of people are stuck in their ways when it comes to who they watch at what time.
It's just routine, really. It's just routine.
Yeah, I got to as frustrating as it is for a lot of for me, and I'm thinking what other people think. It's in my head like, like this person's on, but Sloth's on. Who do I watch? I'm just like just panicking in my own head. But I spoke to Nick and I spoke to a few other people, and I just said, "Fuck it,
dude."
So,
life comes first, man. Life comes first.
Yeah, thanks to Nick and Winky and all them who I did speak to, and they got me in a better headspace.
I honestly think you'll feel better for it. Like I've definitely noticed, like for a little bit. Remember when a little bit of a time where I was like trying to stream every night.
Yeah, you were burnt out, man. There was a few conversations had that you weren't in where we were starting to go, shit, man, Matt's looking pretty ragged. Like you can start to see it wearing, and I'm like, fuck, who's going to say something to him? And then you went, nah, and you changed it on your own. So you picked it up yourself.
And, know, I hear that. I really enjoy just fucking hanging out with Danny and spending time with family and just not having that pressure. It's funny. I don't think people think about, like, with your Twitch skill, because you can never go into, like, Twitch full-time as a job. Like, you need to, it's something you have to build. So, like, people, do it in addition to their normal jobs or whatever. And then all of a sudden you build an audience from like 1 a.m. to 3 o'clock in the morning or something. And then you're like, all right, I've got enough now, I'm getting a little bit of income. Let's go full time. You're like, well, actually, it would be great if I wasn't a vampire anymore, and you got to change your whole routine. So,
I can tell you right now that if I was working, if I wasn't retired, I would probably, it wouldn't even cross my mind to go full time on Twitch. Like, it's just, a lot of people can do it. I can't. I wouldn't be able to work and stream and all that sort of thing. So for the people who do it, like the partners and the people who have gone full time, more power to you. But there's just no way that I would be able to do full time if I did work. I'm very lucky and unlucky in that respect that I am retired, that I can do something that I do enjoy.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway. This has been a seriously wholesome note to start the podcast on, which is really out of character for us.
Shut the fuck up.
Sloth's making changes in his life to benefit himself and his family, and like, I just feel warm and fuzzy, man. This is great.
That's good.
What have you been doing, Matt? How did you make your life better this week?
Well, look, I got a story about that too, so you better have a story about improving your life, vlog, right? I went back to I've been going back to Muay Thai. I used to do a lot of MMA before, but there's a nice close like kickboxing club or Muay Thai club near me. So I've been going back to training because I've put on 20 plus kilos since I used to weigh in under 70 kg for fights. 68 kilos was my fight weight. And I used to walk around about 73, 75. And I'm over 90 kilos now. And I'm a small dude, man. Like, I'm not a fucking big guy. So I've gone back, like, and that's what I've said to myself. I'm not doing YouTube work at night. It's going to be training and, like, Netflix with Danny and games of Sloth, which maybe now it won't be games of Sloth. Maybe it'll be games of Sloth during the middle of the day. And I finally got enough fitness to join, like, the advanced group or the fighters group, and so I had my first sparring session in over 3 years, right? And I just fucking died. Like, it was I just, your body gets so soft when it hasn't been punched and kicked in a while, and you haven't done like clinch work and like resting, and I literally walked out of there like a fucking robot. After and it was like a 2.5 hour session of like fucking training. And I just sat on the couch and said, Daddy, I can't move. I was like, you need to help.
Danny, assist me, Danny. So Matt, like, you know that play button that you got up on the wall behind you, the YouTube thing?
Yeah.
How much do you reckon that weighs?
Not 20 kilos.
So yeah, there you go. That's good. So you're gonna get your ass kicked every few weeks now until you can handle it, so you can take it like a man.
Well, it's amazing how quickly your body adjusts. Like the second session back, it was fine, and I'm really enjoying training again. So hopefully, some of the weight starts to come off now and get a bit more balance in my life.
Yeah.
So what did you do? What did you do, Log? Me and Slothy are making positive life changes, and what are you fucking doing?
He drank a bottle of scotch in the shower last night.
I had a fucked week at work and literally got home, poured myself a scotch, went and just had a shower in. I put it on fucking Twitter because I'm an idiot. And I also had to crop that photo because it's a reflection of me standing completely fucking naked in it. That I nearly uploaded to Twitch. And I'm like, to Twitter, sorry. Like, oof.
You have to be careful when you're taking naked photos with reflections, man.
Yeah, I won't do it again.
Have you seen that cat video? Have you seen that cat picture?
Yeah.
It's like a guy, and there's like he must have like a high-rise apartment, and he's like, oh, look at my beautiful cat. And he's taking a photo of the cat at the sitting on the windowsill, but it's completely reflecting, and he's completely stark, as just completely naked.
That's fucking weird.
And everyone's like, yeah, nice cat, you dickhead.
But no, I mean, I haven't improved my life at all. In fact, I'm fucking hungover. Still, and it's middle of the afternoon. I was an absolute deadweight. I played with Sass and Gio and Nick a bit last night, and I was the bottom of the barrel every single game. I think one game I got 1 kill. I was, I needed to blow off some steam. You don't need to be
drunk for that. That's just fucking normal for you, mate.
Talk it up, big man. Come on.
Yeah, I will.
But no, so at least one of us is off the rails. Keeping it honest.
Yeah, right.
I'll report in next week. I promise I'll make some kind of positive change in my life for next episode. I'll tell you what. You know what? You know who's going to be hating this?
Hey.
You know that guy that comments where the actual podcast starts every week? Because I know that he'll have to watch this bit because to get to where the podcast...
Where does the podcast start? Where does it start? Random YouTube commenter.
Maybe we won't start it at all.
No, wait, hold on. But Log, you've been getting out a lot more YouTube content, and that's been pretty good.
Yeah, I've been taking it a little bit more seriously, and I'm actually talking to a few people about doing the editing side for me, because it's not something that I'm particularly good at, I feel, and I'm more than happy to pay someone to do that sort of stuff so that I can get more stuff out and be a bit more reliable with it all. So I'm taking it a little bit more seriously than I have, as much as seriously as you can take parody songs in the Article 13 climate on YouTube. But
right.
Let's not. It makes me just want to go and sit in that corner and fucking curl up in a ball and cry. But hey, live in fear, people. It's fine. But yeah.
But it's frightening. But the one thing that I did notice is that you came out with Here I Go Again to Gambit on My Own, and then you came out with this 15-second clip of Aldrin being picked up by the furry butthole, and then it comes into a song that's
yeah, the start of Angel. Dude, I reckon I'll give him a shout out. Solar Flare on Twitter is probably the funniest bloke in the Destiny community at the moment. He started with all those ding videos, and then he did that with the Yoshi's Island or whatever it is. And then I just stole the idea and went, I can do this. I know a song that'll go really well with that. So yeah, I might throw a meme out here and there as well if I can. I just edited it sitting at my desk on my lunch break in about 10 minutes. It was delightful. It was the lowest effort piece of shit content I've ever made, and I'm glad everyone enjoyed it.
Maximum effort.
All right. You want to talk about Destiny?
Yeah, sure.
Actually, let's talk about yeah, not a bad flick.
Not a bad movie at all. Josh Brolin, fucking.
He's a handsome man. When I grow up, I want to look like Josh Brolin in Deadpool. I don't want a mechanical arm, though.
I think that's ship sailed for you.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to save all the money I make from YouTube and everything and just have extensive plastic surgery done so I can look like the guy who plays fucking Thanos.
I'll tell you what, you're not going to be getting good plastic surgery from YouTube ad revenue, mate.
You were going down to Darren's fucking back shed with a fucking can full of.
I'm sure there's someone in my beloved hometown of Newcastle that could sort me out for a fiver.
Plastic surgery at Darren's back shed.
All right, on the fucking topic. Couple of departures from Bungie this week. Nusk and Hamrick are both going to be departing Bungie, which is sad. I think Nusk is finished. Josh is finished this week and Nusk next. So just from us, thanks, guys. If you watch the show, I've got no idea whether you do or you don't, but thank you very much for making whatever part of our game that you made. It was, of course, we're still following on Twitter and everything. I look forward to see what they do from here, right?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's cool. It is really hard to balance being a dev and being connected to the community. And I think those two guys did a really good job at being involved with the community, considering how rough Sandbox and how many changes have happened to Sandbox over the years. And they, really kept a level head and they have a really good sense of humor. And, it's going to be cool to see what they move on to because, they have built a community not just around Destiny, but sort of around themselves as being, just good people, good devs, good people. So I think it's going to be really fun to see what they go on to. I'm interested anyway.
Well, one thing that, I've seen this on Twitter and all that sort of thing. I was like, yeah, people come and go, and the video game industry is difficult, especially with Bungie hasn't laid off copious amounts of employees or anything like that, but EA and Activision did because fuck those two AAA companies. But anyway,
Sloth's back.
But the one thing that Matt said prior to the cast is that might be worth a watch. They might be doing an independent thing.
Maybe
I would love to see it.
Yeah,
a tiny little independent game.
Because where do you go from there? We
look at it and we go, this is the pinnacle of because it's fucking Destiny for us. And working for Bungie would be, that's the dream. I have no skill set that I could offer, but I'll just turn up and fucking mop the floors or something. But for them, you don't know. They may have other aspirations. They might, Nusk's got a couple of fucking rad bands, so I hope that he gets some productivity with that. Sandrider and Demon Hammer. Demon Hammer is probably the best name for a band I've ever heard, mind you.
But Bungie's still a tiny independent publisher.
Yeah, true.
Tiny independent publisher. You're on fucking drugs. Stop it.
Get off the hammer, mate. Get off the hammer.
We'll go on to this week at Bungie. I'll quickly crack through this. And there was a thing that someone actually said to me last night while I was playing Div 2. But anyway, news Sting.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. Sorry, I thought you were talking about news still. Anyway. There we go. There you go.
This week at Bungie, Lord Saladin is watching you. The Iron Banner Rage is on. If you haven't jumped in just yet, the Iron Banner bounties have been updated with new objectives, and each bounty will grant a powerful reward. Some quest steps and the Recluse will also progress faster in the Iron Banner, so if you're on the hunt for these rewards, now's the time to grind it out.
Might have to do that.
Yeah, I'm going to have a go tonight, I think.
Each Tuesday, Guardians will look forward to a new set of objectives and challenges to complete in the world of Destiny 2, rotating Crucible modes, new bounties to complete, and every so often, a Curse Week in the Dreaming City. For some time now, we've been encountering issues where some of our resets would catch bad streaks, preventing players from completing various triumphs and earning their desired titles. We've taken some time to address these issues and wanted to give an update on the status.
On a side note about the Curse Week, it just totally slipped my mind to be collecting the law book Truth and Power. So I think I'm behind 2 entries now, which hurts my soul because one of them was really good.
I'm behind 1 week on Trials of the Nine, on the Invitations of the Nine, because I didn't understand how it worked because I'm, a well-established moron and all. But I'm bummed out about that. There's no way I can catch up.
Yeah, I think that needs a bit of work.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, you should be able to catch up at least, right?
I think if you have multiple characters, that should be a way of catching up.
Yeah, well, it should be all right. But I haven't done anything in Destiny for a very long time. because I'll touch on this a little bit later, but I have no motivation to play it.
You touch on that every fucking week.
No, but I think I've actually nailed down a reason why.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we can circle back to that later. That sounds good.
Nightfalls, this week the Corrupted is available for Forsaken owners to complete. If this is the last checkmark you need for the Dreaming City seal, make sure you head to the Dreaming City before the weekly reset on Tuesday. Moving forward, we'll be putting effort into preventing streaks where specific Nightfalls appear multiple weeks in a row or don't appear at all for months. We'll be making sure your experience tackling strikes associated with the seals isn't feast or famine, which is good.
Yeah, that's just a quality of life thing, as is the next one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. 8-1 weapon frame.
Ada who?
2.1.
Don't you reckon? Like, how quickly did everyone forget about Ada as soon as it came along?
How quickly did everyone remember?
She's been shoved in the cupboard. Shoved in the cupboard.
How quick did everyone remember that she was there when she had the fucking hammerhead frame, bud?
Yeah, that's true.
It all come back pretty quick when you can get the gun you want.
Yeah, all come back to me for the weapons, huh? Yes.
She should start charging for that shit, like just like 5,000-6,000 glimmer per frame. And each quest step is another 6,000 glimmer, just to,
Oh, that's true. People chasing Jötunn are going to be seeing Ada still.
True. I forgot about people who don't have Jötunn. God bless your cotton socks. I love that guy.
I need it.
Why do you need the toaster? Just use a sniper rifle. Destiny 2 update 2.2.1, 8-1 will begin offering all weapon frames each week, while players will still be limited in how many different frames they may acquire per week. We are removing the weekly rotation.
Good move. Very good move.
Destiny 2 update 2.2.1 preview. Tentatively planned for April 9th, will bring quality of life changes and bug fixes. Dreaming City Cosmetics drop rates for the Ghost Ship and Sparrow have been doubled or tripled or more for their respective activities.
This will make a lot of people happy.
Yeah, Last Wish Cosmetics.
Sorry, Slothy.
Go on.
No, I was just going to say that these just going forward, these kind of little tuning things where, like, I'm completely fine with something that's been available for 6 months or whatever now, to be like to get easier down the line. Yeah. I think that's
but some of them were so RNG that people were getting really upset by it, and they had done ridiculous numbers, but they were waiting for the ghost or the ship to drop, and it was like I felt like that was a bit unfair. It probably took too long to get to this point. I think they probably could have done it a bit sooner, but they
could have done it a bit sooner. Yeah,
it's a learning. I'm sure they'll have it addressed next time.
At the end of Forsaken, but anyway. Last Wish Cosmetics, that's been dropped. 1,000 voices. The exotic will continue to be rare among players, but we've tuned the drop weights to give slightly better chances than what are currently available. Increasing the drop rates for various lore books. Cade Stash, Dreaming City, and the Tangled Shore. Invitations of the 9. Currently, players must complete an invitation for the 9 by Tuesday. In order to have a new invitation appear on Friday. After update 2.2.1, players
what happens, Log? Like, do you just can't get it at all now? Or or do you just mix it? Like, do you miss just 1 week, or does it block your whole event?
No, I think it like staggers you back. Like, I'm a week behind now because I didn't hand one in until Zer was there again. Because I was like, I'll do this and I'll finish it and then I'll go and do the next one. But there just isn't the next one to pick up. So now, you're a whole week behind. Okay. Which, I mean, it's like, I don't mind it, but it just seems like I'd like for someone to be able to go, I'm really interested in this story. I've picked up Destiny, they pick up Destiny 8 weeks from now and they go, I can just nail, I can do that and get that whole sort of story and focus on doing those bounties for, a night or 2 nights or whatever and just really catch up quickly. It's just not going to work that way.
I think there needs to be like a sort of catch-up mechanic, and I think they'll work it out with, they're definitely integrating lore books into gameplay a lot more, and I don't think that's probably been optimized yet with how you get lore entries. I think, things that are time-gated, I think there needs to be some sort of catch-up mechanic so you can be at the right week at the right time. Collectibles are obviously up to you, so they're fine. Like, it's just up to you to go out and collect them. But if it's time gated, then the 9 is releasing 1 book for 9 weeks. So I've read them, but technically you don't know if there's going to be a spoiler or there's going to be something in that entry for that week and it's going to match what you're seeing in game. So it sort of ruins that narrative if you're behind.
Yeah, well, there's visual components to it as well. Like it's not just the release of the lore book itself. There's, you get that, the cutscene in the first one, and then a few things have happened in the subsequent ones, which we could talk about in a little bit if you want, Matt. But we'll power through this first.
Yeah.
After the update, players have through Thursday's reset at 10 a.m. to complete the invitation, which is good. In regards to that whole catch-up mechanic, it's supposed to reward you for playing the game. If you miss it because you couldn't play the game, then you miss it.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way of looking at it. But when it's something that you'll eventually be able to do, you just got to do it every week for 9 weeks, but delayed. I don't see the point in.
But here's the thing, right? Truth and Power Book has been going for how many weeks now? One entry every 3 weeks. So I was away on that weekend, and I thought it was reasonable if I have I did secondary characters. So I did one character, got that week. And I just thought if I have a second character and do it again, put the time in again, you should get it, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's obviously some fine tuning of things there that it needs to happen. But I understand where you're coming from too, Sloth. I mean, I do agree that if you're not playing the game and you miss out, then that's fine. But I think there needs to be a way to catch up on it too if you wanted to.
See, this will tie into something else that I've got that I also had a conversation with you about earlier on last week. But anyway, the Nightfall Power Handicap. In the Season of the Drifter, the Five of Swords card was updated to apply score multipliers only after setting a power handicap of 100 plus. In the update, we'll be adding 20 plus 25 and max handicap buttons to help players set their handicaps more efficiently. That is a good quality of life change. That is fantastic because you sit there for 5 minutes just going click, 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 click.
Yeah.
Click, 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 click. Good. Well done. The update will also kick off Arc Week. Be sure to check back next week for information on how we'll be celebrating Arc Energy.
I can't wait for Shark Week.
I can't wait for Shark Week. It's so good.
It's I think every game should have a Shark Week.
Yeah, right.
What are we thinking? It's such a weird. Have we had anything like this before? What is this Arc Week about?
Well, they're going to make everywhere underwater, and there's going to be sharks everywhere.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. The pyramid ships finally turn up, and guess what comes out of them?
Sharks.
Alien sharks.
Yeah. Alien. No, just proper sharks. Normal ones that fucked off ages ago and coming back.
This next part is very, very interesting that I actually must have missed. But they're talking about a security update. The security response team, our mandate is to safeguard the experience of our players against those opponents who would detract from your fun in the Destiny universe. Today, we want to talk about two different initiatives we've been focused on recently. Aimbots versus macros. Interesting. It's important to us that people with disabilities be able to use accessibility tools, which sometimes includes simple automation. It's one of the reasons why we fixed the Titan scaling macro issue in game instead of simply punishing people running automation tools. However, there is a clear line between macros and aimbots. Players who stray into the latter territory will find themselves no longer welcome in the Destiny universe. We are currently in the process of banning a number of players on PC who've detected using aimbots to unnaturally augment their skill. Defeating your opponents, whether they're AI or Guardian, should be always about your own skill. We'll continue to make sure that's the case. And plugging in December, we announced that we will begin issuing warnings and restrictions to players with extremely poor network connections that lasted for a prolonged period of time. We're happy to report that 90% of the players who received a warning have not been detected for having a poor connection again. For people who have struggled to improve their connection after receiving a warning, we want to be clear. Stability is more important than speed. Latency and packet loss are the biggest concerns for Destiny, not throughput megabytes per second. Here are a few choice quotes from our network troubleshooting guide. So basically, guys, if you want to check that out, go onto the 12. I'm not going to cover that. Go onto the 12. They're saying that try and stabilize your internet connection. They're not worried about how quick your connection is. Stabilize it so you're not jumping from point A to point fucking J in about 3 seconds flat.
Let me just get on the phone to Telstra and be on there for about 10 hours.
I didn't realize that there was a accessibility tool for automation, which is nice. I actually didn't realize.
I think that's a lot of why they don't come in and make these massive sweeping changes, because they don't want to sort of maul the game for people who are, legitimately have cause to be using this sort of stuff. But like, dude, reading between the lines there on the second bit where they're talking about people's connections, that's interesting as fuck, because it basically reads like, if you read between the lines, they've sent out emails and they've either 90% of the people that they've fucking contacted have either managed to fix their internet somehow, or have stopped fucking DDoSing and fucking around. Like,
yeah, true.
That's so the other side of it.
90% of the people that we detect with poor internet connection and that we've warned have either stopped playing or fixed it.
Yeah. So that bodes well for people playing competitive and all that sort of thing. The macros, I fully and wholeheartedly agree with. In a game like this, there is no point unless you physically are unable to use your player input device. Yeah, then you don't have a reason to use macros. For the people who use the macros for, like, on their mouse button for crouching an ungodly amount of times in PvP to make sure that they get the kill, and they're like going and they're going up and down and all.
I've never seen that. I've honestly never seen that. I do have crouch on my scroll wheel, but it's like I can't fucking do it quick enough to, like, it just it's nothing. It's more for slides.
Wouldn't that make you sick playing like that? I'd feel ill just thinking about it, like jumping up and down.
I was filming some stuff with Sassy on what night was it? Probably Wednesday night, and he set his sensitivity and all his stuff all the way up to the top, and he basically had his character and was just like running his mouse across the desk, and his character's going like me, fucking spinning around at 1 million miles a minute. And then he's like, oh, I feel sick. So imagine anyone doing that. Really, there's like, I don't know. How can you play that way? Just play the fucking game. Who cares?
Change to Gambit Prime. 2 weeks ago, we made some adjustments to Gambit matchmaking to help even the playing field. To give a refresh to what the change was and why it was made, here's some context from the previous edition of This Week at Bungie. Gambit is a team-based activity. As such, players who are in a pre-made fire team have a communication advantage. To offset that advantage, we've raised the internal skill rating of pre-made fire teams to pull in higher skill enemies to fight against. With this change, even as a solo player, you still have a chance. Yeah. Plus, your other match fire team mates should be higher skilled as well. After modifying normal Gambit settings to try and create fairer matches, we re-evaluated the settings and have further tweaks to try and get them even fairer. We've also now had a chance to collect data on a Gambit Prime, and we're applying these changes to Gambit Prime matchmaking to take advantage of our findings. The changes of Gambit Prime matchmaking are live now. If you encounter any issues, please report your experience to the #helpbungie.net.
I like that.
Love it.
I like that. I mean, it's 2 weeks, and they're already tweaking the formula and trying to improve it.
Yeah. It's just going to be whether you feel like you're just always a sweat match now in teams or not. I think that's probably the thing.
Well, if it's the same in any other first person or third person team-based game.
Yeah, it is team matched or solo matched.
You need to, as a 4-stack in Gambit Prime, the rate that you dumpster solo teams is really honestly too high.
Yeah, true.
And when you've got people like when you've got Log, Nick, Etz, and Sassy in a team, 4 very, very good players, except for Log, who's been carried.
I was going to say, I was about to say, mate, you were about to compliment me, but no, it's fine.
It's fine. And the fact that they can dumpster teams very, very easily, kind of detracts from the experience of the opposition team. Of the opposition.
I mean, we've all been on the wrong side of it. Yeah.
To bring in higher ranks, higher tier players and make the enemies harder for you, Fantastic. Good change. Excuse me. Delayed invitations. In recent weeks, Xur has been offering annual pass players his invitations of the 9. These invitations are short-term pursuits to reward players with powerful gear and lore experiences. People who accept these invitations should be aware that they must be completed by the following weekly reset in order for Xur to give a new invitation on his next visit. Players who complete an invitation on the 9 after the weekly reset will have to wait for another blah, 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 is what you were talking about. Hi, Gaul.
Are you laughing at Gaul?
Hi, Gaul.
It takes a lot to derail this show at the moment because a lot of crazy crap goes on in the chat. I mean, if you're listening to it or watching it on YouTube, you probably don't get the most of it. But we've just had someone called Gaul come in and say, "I'm coming back next DLC." That's ominous. Cool. I like your voice,
Aces.
Gaul. That's fine. I'm fine with Gaul coming back. I mean, he's dead, but still.
This week, Gambit Prime features its final map before all maps enter the Gambit Prime playlist rotation. Players who want to get their uninterrupted fill of the Emerald Coast have the rest of this week to do so until a weekly reset next Tuesday. If at that time you and your clanmates decide to relive the glory days of uninterrupted gameplay on your favourite map, we've got good news. Next Tuesday, 2nd of the 4th, rather. Fucking American date time groups.
Yeah.
Gambit Prime unlocks in Gambit Prime private matches for annual pass players. Their players can choose their favorite Gambit Prime setup, including map encounter variants, high value target spawn availability, and whether or not power is enabled during invasions. If you're itching to learn the ropes and set up your own private match, Gambit private matches are available right now for Destiny 2 Forsaken owners. And we're done.
There we go.
We're done.
That was I think we got. He's on it, man. He might not feel refreshed, but I sense refreshment.
I can see the difference. I reckon you made maybe one mistake in that whole reading.
I mean, Sloth was in the audience last week when me and you tried to read.
It was awful.
It was mainly pretty bad for me. Anyway, but hey, do you want some good news, dudes? Do you want some good news?
What?
Yeah,
we've got a Man at Arms special, and we get to watch it right now.
Right now?
Oh, yes. This is so good. Anyway, we'll see you on the other side.
Hi. When Banshee presented me with his latest creation, The Loaded Question, I was colored impressed. Then someone handed me Jötunn and I immediately dismantled that shit. Its name literally translates from the ancient Norse meaning giant bread box of ever-burning hells. When I was told that a toaster had been converted into a life-seeking, fireball-dispensing fusion rifle, my first thought was, this idea is so innovative, it's as if it was created from the imagination of a robot imbued with the soul of a dead 8-year-old girl. Refute it! Powered by 9-volt batteries, the fusion rifle Jötunn discharges a single energy bolt, which upon impact bursts into a pyrotechnic display rivaled only by that of the Dragon's Breath or a Golden Age live performance of the band Rammstein. Jötunn's blast radius has a diameter of nearly excessive, which is the weapon's only negative as it is not overly excessive. Jötunn's moderately aggressive tracking feature is active not only while airborne, but whether you happen to be actually aiming it or not, giving you time to contemplate more important things, like where to find more 9-volt batteries. Why waste countless hours honing skills like shot pacing and target acquisition, when you can simply just point your Viking wrist blaster at your enemies and create an instant funeral pyre? Charge into battle like the berserker of old. Revel in the glory of a mobile pitch battle with this infernal toaster. Children will sing songs of your valor. Send cowards to the afterlife. Let them lament their shame in the darkest corners of hell. Worthy adversaries will tell tall tales of your glorious deeds as you send them through the express lane to dine in the great halls of Valhalla. Let them feel the power of Immolated Booshka. Witness me. Jötunn mun fire brennande Ilse till Mirkers. Der Panzerfaust ist wunderbar. Gott in Himmel. Call now to honor Odin and receive a free Valkyrie. Jötunn, when you like all of the toast burnt.
I think Matt's still watching it.
That's the fucking best thing I've seen yet.
I love how it just slowly scales and then music starts getting more Norse and then all of a sudden he's speaking like a different language while screaming about his toaster. Oh my god.
Still the best part of this podcast by so far. It's ridiculous. But I think he's like, every time I think he's peaked, he comes up with something like that. Harness the power of Immolated Booshka.
Booshka.
Oh, man. I love him.
Top. Absolute top.
He's an absolute boon.
So the thing that, and someone actually touched on it in the chat there before.
Oh, speaking of chat, there you go. You're all YouTube famous. Congratulations.
Yay! Hey, Mama, get the camera. The thing that someone actually asked last night was, hey, Sloth, there's been a rumor that with Hamrick leaving, that PvP D3 is not going to have PvP. D3 is not going to have PV3.
But you know what? Bullshit.
And that's what I said as well. I said that it is so integral to the PvP is so integral to this in universe that it's not going anywhere.
I'm pretty sure Josh Hamrick himself didn't make PvP either.
Well, no,
I mean,
that's
if he
exactly
did,
right. But
what a dude! But still,
I'm more referring to the person who said it in the chat a little while ago. But the person who asked me last night, they said, "How do you fix PvP?"
Oof.
And this is a little bit contentious, I know, I'm going to put this forward knowing full well that I don't have an answer for it. But the way to PvP in Destiny, especially Destiny 3, is to limit Destiny to one console, to one platform.
No. That'll never happen, so it's not even worth fucking discussing.
I know it won't happen.
Why would that solve problems?
Because it's easier to develop for one platform rather than 3 different platforms that refuse to work together.
You're talking about balancing weapons and that.
Yeah, because a lot of people say, "Oh, we just need a different sandbox." Now, I'm no game dev. I'm no game dev whatsoever. I know very, very little about the actual technical side of game development. But people are saying shit like, "Oh, just have a separate sandbox." How difficult is that going to be built and maintained?
I can't
anyway,
even.
Are you talking about
I can't even
being separate sandbox and PvE, or are you talking about PlayStation being separate from PC?
No. I'm like, so the first one was the way that Destiny, as far as I am concerned personally, Destiny would flourish under one platform. Destiny would flourish under one platform. Now, which platform that is really depends on where you, as the person listening to this, play. Personally, I think it would flourish on PC. Someone who plays mainly on console would say whether it's PlayStation.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I agree with
Xbox. But the other thing was the question that was posed to me was, how would you fix PvP? And my answer was, I don't know how to fix PvP. A lot of people are saying that a separate sandbox between PvP and PvE would benefit it. But how hard is that to maintain and build and maintain?
I don't know. I don't play enough PvP to really even have rebuttals to this. And on a very surface level, I feel like it's gotten better just with sillier guns and not taking itself serious and not trying to balance everything. That's a very surface level sort of opinion from me, is that it's not going to be that really competitive, serious game. I think they probably reached the pinnacle of competitiveness with Trials of Osiris, right? Or Trials of the Nine.
I would
in
actually say
D1.
that they've reached pinnacle competitiveness in Gambit Prime.
Yeah, that's a different
Well,
animal. It's a different
It
animal.
is a different
entirely.
animal.
Yeah.
It is a different animal. But I would actually go as far to say that, like, competitive is definitely there, and once you get to a specific point in the competitive playlist, it becomes really, really difficult to go up, because you've got the people who play competitive all the time at around about 4,500 to 5,000 rank. It's really difficult.
Yeah, I
So
don't know.
I would
I
actually
don't know.
go.
It's one of those things,
Hmm.
Slothy, and I think you're a brave man for broaching the subject to begin with, given that like none of us are really none of us are PvP monsters. So I think
Well,
I mean
it's
really
more from a business standpoint rather than what the future of Destiny holds, rather
Yeah,
than how do we fix it. Because fuck knows, I don't know how to fix it. You don't know how to fix it. Fucking Sol Trujillo does not know how to fucking fix it. Like, it's nobody knows how to fix Destiny, because, as I said to you on Wednesday last week, that there are subsects within communities that Bungie are trying to please, and they can't please everyone. You're just going to end up with a dry face and sore wrists.
I think PvE's on a good track, to be honest.
PvE's in a great spot at the moment. PvP,
The only sort of main complaint I'm seeing from PvE is just balancing how they release their season passes with what I've seen on Twitter is a lot of comments around, if my total light level is whatever, and I shouldn't get a powerful piece of gear that's like lower than that because it's on that gear slot. Like the way the powerful gear is dropping, I think needs some tuning, because it just seems very grindy when it's grinding the same stuff that we've done before.
I think a lot of the discontent with PvP at the moment stems from the fact that under the annual pass system, it seems to have been neglected, really. And
with maps and that,
there's no maps, there's no game modes, there's nothing like that. So for mine, pump some love into it. Do what you need to do to bring back the trials equivalent or whatever they're going to make in the future. And I don't know. I mean, I can't agree with you, Slothy, that it's a business decision to make Destiny on one platform, because they just cut their audience by 2/3. Really,
they do.
So
they do. But
it's never going to happen,
Destiny,
and it's not based in any kind of.
For the game itself to flourish is what I'm saying. For the game itself to flourish, for the game itself to flourish, I personally believe that if they were to make the best Destiny that they were to make, it needs to be on one singular platform. Yes, it will cut down the player base, but because they're only developing for one singular platform, it could be.
Well, I mean, on a very superficial level, if you're talking about just making less work. It's less platform, so like it's hard to dispute. Yeah, if you like fucking cut your work by 2/3, yeah, probably can make a better game in general.
Well, you're also not dealing with platform wars either.
I think,
That's
the other thing.
But
I think Destiny would be improved if they. Like, no one would complain about PvP or PvE if they just didn't even make Destiny. So why don't we just cancel the game?
Yeah,
give everyone a refund, and we'll just not have anything to talk about. That'd be, there'd be no complaints. Well, they would, because I'd be pissed off because I wouldn't know what to do with myself of a weekend.
It's frustrating. It's very, very frustrating to see tweets about, let's make Destiny this, let's make Destiny that. Well, column A want everything to be focused on a MMO and PvE, and column B want it all to be focused on PvP and making it the best PvP ever. And
I think they'll get there now, though. I think they're
mix. They don't mesh.
I think they're starting to define themselves now without Activision as well, and I think they're finding their groove with PvE. They're going to find their groove with how to do season passes, and I do think that I agree with Log. I think PvP has been somewhat neglected in comparison, and so that's got to be on the list, really. And I just think, like you said, it's such a big problem that it's almost one of those things where it's like they're going to have to wait for Destiny 3 to try to solve it, because the way to solve it's got to have to be a really big solution.
What is Destiny 3? What is it going to be?
Oh,
What is it like? And that's another question as well.
I'm going to slap that die out of your fucking beard right now, right?
What is life?
No, it's not that much of a question. Like it's where do they go from here? They are alluding to a not another, like post September. They're alluding to not a full game release. There may be another TTK Comet type of situation. If that
Who's
makes
alluding?
sense.
I've seen no illusions.
Reddit. There's a few fucking
Oh
Reddit.
fucking hell! I read the Destiny 3 fucking leak about everything that's going to happen. Remember the one that?
I reckon I should start writing leaks because I think I could write a leak based on the lore better than anyone else.
Can you do that? Can you? Shit, we should have said it on the podcast.
These are the questions that were posed to me last night, and I just don't know. You can ask this of all your favorite content creators. You could go into the biggest Destiny streamer right now and just go, how would you fix Destiny? And they would give a completely different answer than we do right now.
That's why they've got the summit, I guess. You know, they're all at the summit right now, right? Or they just finished.
Summiting, yeah.
They just finished. But what's life? And the really frustrating part about this is I'm just about to pay him is that they don't have you there, mate.
I don't
think there is some frustration from, I will admit, and I don't think I've spoken about this. There is, it's not me being there. It's more that I don't know if there's anyone from the lore community there, and I feel like Bungie's being pretty fair with the invites to the summit. We're seeing a lot of new people go each time, which I think is fair, but I just think you're going to have representatives from PvP, and you're going to have representatives from PvE, and you're going to have representatives from YouTube, Twitch, other streaming platforms. And, I always think narrative should be on the table. I always think that it should be up for discussion. And I don't know why game developers or game devs consider narrative to be in a different ballpark than Sandbox.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, they're doing a lot of things really well now. And, there's
and you know what? The summit shouldn't just be negative. It can be praised too.
Like, I mean, imagine being able to go there and go, you're doing a great job. I mean,
in person. Like that. That's
just go and give everyone a hug.
Of giving feedback's not negative. Like, I
giving
feel like
feedback
you should be like, hey, we really love how the volume of lore that you're releasing with seasons. It's enormous. Thank you. Really appreciate it. But, maybe one of the issues is I have issue with if I miss a week, I can't get a lore entry, and I'm a massive lore nerd, and that makes me then go to third-party websites to read the lore when ideally I would like the narrative to be told in-game. There you go. There's a bit of feedback.
Yeah. I'll take it. In chat, if you've got any questions, go for your life, because we'll start reading.
A question from Sticky Frano. Just a thought. Are you guys going to get Destiny or PvE stuff? PvP content? Both.
Yeah, both. Yeah. I do everything poorly, but I do everything.
I PvP's never. I don't know why. I play PvP all the time with Sloth in different games. I don't know why. I just don't enjoy Destiny. I don't know why I don't enjoy Destiny PvP. I'm not too sure why. It's not my cup of tea.
Well, I mean, we play, and this is a Mylan and I personal choice. We play games like Squad and Rainbow Six Siege and Insurgency Sandstorm, which are a simulation PvP type of situation. It's not really out there. It's gun, bullets into the man-hands. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's just a personal taste thing, I guess, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because that's sort of the types of games that you play, I just find fucking stressful and shitty. So, like, where it's we've got to be a finely tuned machine or we'll get beat. I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah, see, I love that. That's the shit I like.
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that.
No, I get it. And I totally respect the fact that it's like you get a different thing out of it when you put all that into it too. It's more satisfying. But for me, I think Destiny PvP and like I play probably more PvP than I do PvE, to be honest. I'm not the kind of bloke. I get bored as shit running strikes. And I think like PvP, you always get that, you're always playing different people, get the variety that way. But for me, it's not something that I think about a whole lot. And I'm not I stream, but I'm not on multiple nights a week really. So I don't have time to burn myself out on it. But I think that like Destiny, where it is now, it's kind of, the PvP is kind of casual. And if you come at it from that perspective, it's not bad. But I do agree that we're missing a big part of the competitive Destiny sort of scene that was around
Destiny
when we had
PvP
trials.
Doesn't need to be competitive.
Well,
No.
look, does it need to be completely balanced and everything perfect and all that sort of shit? No, it's never going to be. We know that. There's always something. There's fucking Erentil or whatever it is now. We always joke every time there's a new season comes up and they're going to rebalance things. It's like, oh, we'll give it 3 weeks and then there'll be the new thing that everyone wants nerfed. So we're never going to get there. But do I think that there needs to be something come in that pits players against people in a way that they enjoy more than comp? Yeah. Because that's what's really lacking at the moment. People trials is like a weekly ritual, and I think that that's kind of what's missing here. There's no the weekend trials anymore. It's just comp. It's there all the time, and it's I don't play that much of it. I just play quick play because I'm lazy. But it's, as Sloth was saying, it can be a real punish. It's a real fucking grind. To get in and get these pinnacle weapons and stuff. Yeah. So I mean, the cool guns and all that, but yeah.
Let's talk some lore as well.
You want to talk lore?
There was another thing. There was another thing that I came across last week, which I ended up to sort of shaking my head in disapproval.
Good.
But I was watching a friend of mine play Destiny, and we were talking about things that could change in Destiny. And this person popped up in his chat, and he said something along the lines of, competitive Destiny needs to be changed so you can grind out weapons like the Not Forgotten and the Recluse in other things outside of competitive. We're all a lot of us were sitting there going, what? Why? Oh, because it's really difficult for solo play. Okay. Have you tried?
But we've already had this conversation many times.
Well, I mean, have you tried the 100.io? Have you tried stuff? Yeah, but they're all shit and all that sort of stuff. It's like,
I think we all agree here that there needs some weapons should be behind some content that not everyone can get.
Yeah, well, if you can't get it, or if you don't have to get it. Yeah, I'm sorry, you're just not going to get it.
Yeah, Matt's right. Let's reaffirm our statement on that.
Yeah,
if you don't do it the way you're meant to, you don't deserve it. Goodbye. The end.
Yeah,
but Invitation of the Nine was
really
dude. Yeah, let's bring it back to something super positive.
I've been watching some lore YouTubers of late.
I know you're gonna say my name is Bob, so shut the fuck up. All right.
I've actually been watching your content, you fucking pernus.
I see what he did there. That joke's been 3 years in the making.
I've actually been watching your content, you bell.
There was not a cut. Well, I guess an in-game conversation. So if you haven't done this week's Invitation of the Nine, maybe you want to tune out now. But you go back to
see you later.
The plains, the plains of the Nine, and you meet the emissary, and there's a giant Marasov statue in the background. And the statue even moves to look at you. It's very subtle. Her head moves to look at you. And the Nine, or the emissary, says that, I can't remember what she exactly says, but that she's having a disagreeing with the Nine, and basically it sounds like Marasov's in trouble and that she's going to be beaten by them.
By the Nine?
And that's all we know at this stage. Well, no, it sounds like Marasov
is fighting the darkness.
We don't know. We don't know what she's fighting. The Nine and the emissary are disagreeing. The emissary is saying she's going to be all right. The Nine saying no, she's going to die. She's going to beg for death. So the short of it is Marasov is in some sort of trouble.
She's been grabbed by the short and curlies.
I guess you could put it like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. All right, what's your take on it? What do you think it's pointing towards? Speculate. Let's put our speculating hats on.
Well, look, I actually haven't made a video about this, but all the information is now available, right? So in the Dust law book, have you guys read you've read the Dust book?
I've read it, yeah.
Have you read you haven't read it, have you, Sloth? The Dust law book? No. Okay, good. So quick brief in the Dust law book. There was a training cryptarch called Lavinia who was obsessed with the Nine. And do you remember back in Destiny, this goes all the way back to Destiny 1. In Destiny 1, OG, there was a Grimoire card released, and it was called a red box. It was called a copper box. And someone found the copper box on I want to say Ness. Was it Nessus? No, Venus. Found it on Venus, right? And it was a box full of dust. And they didn't know what it was. And we had this card all the way in D1. And every bit of dust in the box was actually engraved like a planet. So you could find a dust particle that represented Earth, Mars, Venus, all the planets. Okay? Yep. And that's where it left. We've never had that answered ever. And right now, 4 years later, right, they come back to the dust box. And so Lavinia is trying to work out where this box came from. And she's pretty sure it's the Nine. She takes it to Xur. Xur sort of, in some sort of weird way, confirms that it's related to the Nine. Blah, blah, blah. Fast forward. Lavinia does a bunch of research and comes to this portal. And she believes the Nine are on the other side of this portal. And that they're trying to like access our universe. And that they are sort of described as these beings from the dawn of time, but they can only observe us. And there's sort of, I'm sure there's a story out there of gods like envying the mortality of humans. It's a little bit like that. Like they envy that we can have feelings and we can see and we can hear. And so they almost want to relinquish godhood to be us. But they also control everything at the same time. So it's this weird paradoxical thing happening where they're gods, not gods, but they also want to be, well, we don't know if they want to be mortal, but they're trying to communicate to us through this portal. Lavinia jumps through to meet the Nine. And it is in that point in time that it's very like she's in another dimension, she's in another space-time thingy, and she just gets it. Right? They're all connected all of a sudden. She just understands the gods of this world. She understands who the Nine is and all that kind of stuff. And, I'm not going to blank out right at the conclusion, am I? What are we talking about again? I'm telling this story because, the
Lavinia goes through the portal. Why?
sees the Nine and the dust, and now how do we get back? Oh, the witch. That's right. Okay, and I knew I was remembering a sec. And so the Nine are talking to her, or one of the Nine are talking to her, and says, "You're in danger." And then she gets basically taken. Doesn't use the word taken, but taken by a witch, and the witch has a bone tea set. And we're like, who the fuck is this witch? Who is this person who is in the Nine's realm who can take people? And in the most recent Truth to Power law book, which I haven't got, it reveals that Dal Inkaru, which is Savathun's daughter, has a bone tea set. So it means that the witch, well, the hive have power in the Nine's realm. So if I was to speculate about why Marasov is in trouble, I imagine she's also in that area and it has something to do with Darling Karu or Savathun.
That's huge, isn't it? Oh man, I don't even know where to begin.
Guys, I'm sorry, I almost lost it then. I got so caught up. I was like, where was I going with this? I knew there was a connection I wanted to make, but I couldn't remember it.
So basically, we're seeing the hive operating on the Nine's side of the universe, for want of a better term? Like, because I mean, they're what, like antimatter really is kind of the illusion.
Okay, yeah. So the nine communicate to us through like dark matter.
Yeah.
So that's been described as communication from the nine. From there, it's like Stranger Things or something. They're on like the upside down world, and they can like send signals to us through whatever, right? Like lights turning on and off, but for them it's dark matter.
How about the book where it talks about where they start trying to make life and send it back through the portal?
Yes, that's the portal, right?
Yeah. That's what I'm sure. Like, there's so much in that, you know, there's going to be another 4 books come out of just that one book.
Well,
it's so much going on in it.
Has heaps of lore with it already. I know Bife made a video on it, and that was old school lore about Dead Orbit disappearing.
Yeah.
They found this hive ship, and all the survivors were gone. And the portal was originally owned by Crota. Well, originally captured by Crota. So the assumption then is that maybe the hive jumped through as well.
Oh, dude, do you feel like
my mind is blown?
Sloth EXE stopped working.
It's like it's nearly too much to just sit and take in a sitting. And I've read it twice, and then now I'm talking to Matt, and I'm still fucking don't feel like I've got the greatest handle on it all. But I think take a step back from it all. Do you think this story now is pointing somewhere? Like, do you think it's mapped? Do you think that the narrative team have an end for all of this? Because Destiny was always like, there was always more questions than answers, and an never-ending sort of expansive, you know, like, and we're there now. We're finding out all of this stuff. We're starting to get some answers. Do you think that, like, this is, we're starting to see the beginning of what is ultimately going to be the end of Destiny in terms of story?
Is this the beginning of the end?
I was starting to think about, that question too, because when people were talking about, are we going to face the darkness in Destiny 3? My sort of rebuttal was, well, what happens then? Because that's always been the reason the Destiny universe can continue, is because we've never really faced a true enemy.
True.
And we've never defeated the true enemy. And that creates basically...
retconned.
No, it's back now.
Sloth.
It's back now. It's back. It's cool.
You know, that has given them a trapdoor to continue writing enemies and continue to do stuff. So if we eventually face the big baddie, does that where Destiny finishes? And then how do you keep releasing content in a live service model?
Easy peasy, Matt, because you've got time traveling robots that can just undo it all. Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbliness is the answer.
Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly. Time travel.
Maybe.
But
maybe they'll just end it. Like, they'll just end it.
I don't know if I mean, they would have to have a new IP ready. I imagine what they would be doing is work on a new IP and then wrap up Destiny, then move on.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think we're close to that point yet.
I don't think we're close to that.
No, I don't think we're close to that yet either. But what I'm saying is that maybe they're working their way towards the Avengers open quotes endgame where shit just ends.
Well, what I can say is this. From, you know, doing the anthology and I guess speaking a bit more to the narrative team and sort of Log's question, like before, I don't know if there was a clear pathway where the story was going. I think there is a very clear pathway now, and a lot of it has been mapped out. And I would say it would be very safe to say that they have mapped out at least a year in advance. So they 100% know what's happening narrative-wise next year, within a year. And that's why everything's flowing together so much better. If you look at all the season pass, like it all flows together, right? And it all connects and it all matches up. So I would be surprised if they weren't working a year in advance for...
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my hope with it all. That's kind of my hope with it all. And you're starting to see it with characters like the Drifter and stuff now with, You know, the For Every Rose of Thorn lore book. You know, he's in that a little bit, and like in terms of like what his role in the tower is and what what it's part of, the bigger thing that it's part of. But I hope that like, you look at a character like Ada that's in the Black Armory that kind of right now just feels like a little asside. I think what I can see, and I'm not sure whether it's just me and it's wishful thinking, but I can see them putting these assets in the game to then bring them in a huge way as story elements. Like, okay, we meet this person now, but in 2 years' time, they're going to be really fucking
so cool.
really fucking pivotal in the context of the story. Like,
I've never thought about that.
Guess what? We woke up Rasputin and freed him, and then we've been fucked off and dealing with Uldren and fighting space dragons and shit since, and haven't really thought about it. But there's the most powerful thing that we've got. Our most powerful weapon, Rasputin, is out doing fucking God knows what. Like he's another element there. Like if it can all come and converge.
Yeah, dude, I've never thought about like everything coming together. Can you imagine if all these different storylines came together for one like final hurrah?
Yeah,
that
dude, because you know exactly how Destiny's how we're gonna beat the darkness. Ada and Rasputin are going to get Siva, get control of Siva. We're going to use Siva to replicate ourselves with the help of the Nine to fight the darkness. I just made that up. Fucking big lore brain. Cop that.
Whoa. How'd you get 100 IQ, 200 IQ?
That's
look at that.
Fucking
That's a 600 IQ.
Much wow.
That's some red pill shit for you there. Fucking someone ask a question. Get me off this garbage.
the thing with how, for again, a business type of statement is, how long is Destiny going to be doable?
So stop.
It's an interesting question.
Bringing it back to real life business, man. Sloth loves business Sloth. I don't know, man. I don't like, honestly, if they manage to develop it well and keep going and keep it interesting, then there isn't a timeline on it, because they can update it and grow it and everything else. I mean, all these games are running on really old engines. We know that. So as long as there's a want, then as long as there's an audience, then Destiny is able to exist. That's really it.
Look, I'm interested in putting parallels to something like World of Warcraft, and I haven't played that stuff. But were these questions asked in like early days of World of Warcraft?
They've been asking those questions since fucking vanilla, mate.
Like, when does it end?
When does it end?
And it hasn't ended yet.
You've also got to remember is that,
how many years has World of Warcraft been going?
Warcraft has been around for a very fucking long time.
It'd be like fucking 15 years or something now, wouldn't it?
The extended universe of Warcraft has been around for a very
but like WoW as an on-rolling, expanding.
WoW as a I think it's like, it'd be close to 15 years or something like that, if not longer. But that's the thing, like, they have this backing universe that Destiny is growing, but isn't at that point yet.
Not yet.
And I mean, that's what I'm getting at with sort of all these characters that we're seeing introduced. I hope there's a purpose. It's not just like, oh, well, we need someone to fucking sell guns for 3 months. Here, Ada. Like she's got a pretty well-written story. Cool. Like that's what I'm starting to hope for. And if it is that way, then I'll be stoked. And yeah, World of Warcraft, 15 years old. So there's probably people who asked the question, when will this end, that have ended before the game did, which is a pretty morbid thought.
Fuck, I remember asking that question in fucking 2010 or whatever it was. When does it end? What comes after Cataclysm? What comes after Cataclysm? What comes after Battle for Azeroth?
I would like to make an observation. When Sloth switched his like sleep schedule, he's gone from angry Sloth to philosophical Sloth.
He is. He's deep.
I think I like it. It's a deep philosophical.
I haven't switched any schedule yet.
Well, I can tell the difference. Don't lie to me.
What? Okay? I think it's just that he's stepped back and he's taken a more holistic view of his life, and he's doing that with everything now. He's a deep thinker. I know he's always been a deep thinker, but
He's always been a deep thinker,
He's gonna
but he
go-
used to hide it, and now he's letting his true self come forward.
Now he's going
I like it.
balls deep with thinking.
I have one word for you guys.
Philosophical.
Philosophical. Oh, yes. Ants, you are a fucking gift.
You're a gift to this podcast.
Both cunts.
Oh. All right, there's our one. There's our one for the week.
There's our one.
Yeah.
Did you see Polar throw
greedy.
one out last week? I thought you did you
It
proud.
was fantastic.
Wasn't what a lovely human. That was great. All right, well,
I'm really frustrated this weeks, but obviously with things on. I had fucking 20 people in my house when you recorded that.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
so there was myself, my wife, my two daughters, my fucking mum, my dad, my brother, my fucking sister, her husband, and their fucking 4 children.
I've already lost track.
Close. It's not quite 20. It's about 15.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Fucking cop that. Attention to detail games over here in the fucking corner. Oh well, look,
Right.
Sloth, do you want to start your outro? Actually, before we wrap the episode up, I just wanted to say something that there was a guy in the Discord for the show yesterday that had a crack at me for being negative about things or whatever. Now, I think I'm gonna speak for all three of us when I say this. If we ever raise anything and say anything negative about anything, it is only based in that we want the game to improve. I think we've poured years of our fucking lives into this game. I think we've earned the right to be able to say something critically. And you know what? At the end of the day, feedback is what makes changes, and they make changes based on feedback. So this is our way of doing that. Now, if you're out there and you've got opinions, that's absolutely fine. They are welcome. Put them forward. But don't try and shit on other people's, because that is not going to fly around here, and it never fucking will. So, thank you.
All right, kick us off, Slothing.
Right, hang on. I'm going to put on... What sort of mood are you in today, Sloth?
Oh, fuck off.
No, what sort of mood are you in? I'm serious.
But he just told you. He just told you his mood.
Fuck off.
Fuck off.
So to that person, fuck off. Don't come back.
No,
You're not
don't.
welcome
No, we're done. We're done. I've handled it.
here. Ladies and gentlemen, just for Chucky.
Here we go. You know what? Philosophical, uplifting, and inspirational, Sloth. On you go.
You know what? Yeah, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I missed you last week. I actually did. I came into Twitch chat last and I gave everyone a lot of shit, and I was carrying on the job. But I do. This is probably one of my favorite times. Probably one of the few things that actually kept me going.
Oh no.
You just completely cut out while you were saying something nice.
I said this is probably one of my favorites. It's one of the things that kept me streaming for a long time. Has it cut out again?
At exactly the same point.
You know what? Fuck. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for our live audience and all of your questions and all that sort of thing. Thank you for Gore for making an appearance.
I'm going to die.
To our audio-only listeners, thank you for your continued support. And to our YouTube watchers, if anything that we have said, covered, or spoken about on the podcast, if you have any questions, queries, doubtful points, let us know in the comments below. I did miss you. Both fuckhead. And we'll catch you guys next week for episode 120. If you're traveling this weekend, be safe, be well. And yeah.
Bit of a, be well. You know what? Go and call your parents. Just give them a ring. Check in. If you are a parent, read your kids a book. There you go. There you go. But we're the wholesome Destiny Down Under podcast.
Oh.
We're going to turn up to your party with fairy bread.
No, I'm going to turn up to your party with whiskey and fucking strippers.
Oh, yeah, we are. All right.
With large breets.
Breets.
Yeah.
All right, Matt. Close it. Bring it home.
Oh.
Yeah. What's going to find us?
The law will find you as long as you've logged in every week and got the collectible. Otherwise, the law will find you next week, delayed and behind.
Harsh but fair. Anyway, bye. Stand by for a raid. We're going to have someone. Don't go anywhere. Ah!